Yo, yo, yo. So I wasn't gonna get messy. I promise y'all I wasn't gonna get messy, but I was like just cruising along and just doing my own thing. And one day, and I was on X, and this individual was like, "Look, you're weird," and tried to just smear my whole name. I lost a bunch of subscribers because of it. People that shouldn't have been around anyway, right? Because people like drama on the internet, right? Whatever. That's cool. I'm okay with that. Everybody likes drama. Everybody likes whatever else. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna pull y'all in. But I've learned something through all of this. And I'm not doing this to smear these guys. I think what these guys do is great. I'm in the space now, so I know what it takes to grind on a daily effort. I know this grind takes on a daily effort, but I learned something, and I wanted to show y'all with the prime example of being too positive can lead into misinformation, and being too negative also leads into misinformation. So if you plan on, you know what I'm saying, starting up whatever, this a sports channel, or whatever, like whatever you're going to do, like, you got to keep it real. You have to be honest. And we got to get this hate word out of the vocabulary, because truth is truth. Honest is truth. Truth is honest. And you say you want that from people, but then when people do that, you don't like them when they do it. And if you're a journalist and you have journalistic duties, and that's some form, well, some way, shape, or form, that's what we're out here to do. That's what we are. Rather what level you're at of it, that's what you do, right? Um, you get content, or you're reporting on something, or you know what I'm saying, or you make your own form of content. And I got some, you know what I mean? So I was like, all right, what could I do, you know what I'm saying, to just, shine a light on it? Because when you're too positive, your content comes out into misinformation. Whether you see it or not, you don't even notice it, because your reports are going to come out in misinformation. And because you're always on that, and I get it, you want uplifting people, whatever, there's a way to do that and be honest at the same time, because that's what y'all say y'all want, is honesty, but y'all don't. But a lot of people don't want honesty. You have to play this game. But I'm here trying to change that. I'm trying to put forth my due diligence on that. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, stick around, because we got a good one. So I'm on X last year. Um and I'm like, all right, so I'm like, it goes to show how negativity rules all. I don't even know Jake from DNVR, but I got more retweets and shares than ever before. Laughing out loud. So thank you all. Have a blessed day. I'm live on Saturdays at 6:30 ESPN. Come talk your ish. And Jake, I'm willing to have a conversation whenever. I tweeted at him. This was like, everything else was deleted. I don't even know how. Everything I typed should be in my archives, but it's not, which is crazy. It's not in my archives. It should be, but it's not. But it all started for me just pretty much telling them this is going to be a rebuild. He didn't make no plans after, look what this team is doing. He didn't make no plans for after Travis and Shiloh and Shador left at Colorado. There was no plans. And I said this way back when, but there was a whole bunch of people that anything was saying about me. And he was like, no, you just want information about a coach. I'm like, I don't care what coach does what. That doesn't matter to me. And I said, so I'm like, that's real weird to jump between the two grown men The Jank Penis Patrol has arrived. That's what I said. That's what I said. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's people, I don't even know a lot of people. Like, this is one of my biggest retweets. I'm talking about even the comments had like 800 views on them or something. But I'm like, did I say anything about me want information? And I hope they are working with the team, Jake, because if they're not, it's not looking good. Use your real page and respond to me. Put some name on respect. I thought he was using a burner page. I guess he wasn't. But anyway, I said, I didn't miss. I said it's not a diss unless I miss. And I didn't. I cooked on there. Everything I said was right. He didn't rebuild. I didn't get an apology from dude from the DMVR. And he deleted a lot of his weirdo tweets and all that, whatever he was saying about me because of his brand. And I ain't trying to get the man in trouble or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm using this for educational purposes, right? I'm using this for purposes for people who might be wanting to start a channel. You know what I'm saying? Or just informing y'all out there to tell y'all that you have to be honest when you're doing this. There's no other way to do that. And if you're looking to be pampered with positivity all the time, like I'm getting better in that way, but I gotta tell the truth. I speak sports, mainly football. And I'll be going into basketball here soon, but like, you know what I mean? But that you have to be honest. Whether you're a fan of whatever person that is, they can't get better if they're not hearing their fans say something's wrong. I care, but you was off or whatever. Nobody can't grow. Nobody can get better. If I'm not critiqued, I can't get better. I don't know what's going on. And people have no problem with critiquing me. But it's when you have a certain amount of followers is when people start to care on who's being critiqued and who's not. But meanwhile, that same person who care about somebody else being critiqued is somebody who's always getting judged, and it's crazy. But that's how that all started, right? So I said, all right, whatever. So as time went on with this show, um, he actually did wind up coming out and saying that RK did come out and say that him and Jake and them did miss. And if you don't believe me, here's the proof. Let's watch the video. Pull up the clips.
You'll be able to retain Julian Lewis. You have to do everything you can to build around Julian Lewis and understand that this is the start of a new journey. What I think we missed, and when I say we, I mean you and me, and Scotty and Neely, and also the program, was that this was going to be a transition year. And I think we saw it a lot with the Broncos, where it was like, there's no such thing as a rebuild. We're just going to keep trying to figure it out with what we have. And you just spin your wheels.
Yep.
This was a wheel spinning season at best.
Yep.
And
so, nonetheless, he just said it. He just said it. He confirmed what I was always saying. And what I tweeted out to his partner that's on the show that's totally agreeing with it sitting there, he confirmed it. He confirmed what I said. Last year, before the season, y'all are going to go into a rebuild. Keep it real with the fans. Like, if I could see that and you're with the team every single day and you don't, and the fact that you don't see that, and there's nothing wrong with that. That just means that you gotta respect my football knowledge. Number one, let's get that out there. I guess get that out the way. You gotta respect my football knowledge. But not only that you have to stop being so dang on like pandering to the chat. And I get it. Like everybody got to be nice to the chat and nice to everybody. I try to communicate with everybody who gets in my comments on every video. I try to keep up with it. It's a whole lot. You know what I mean? If somebody's making a good statement, I probably just give it a like and be like, yeah, I agree. So there's nothing really to say back. If somebody asks me a question, they want to have a conversation, I do that. I get it. But when you're trying to pander to a crowd all the time, You can't do your journalistic duty. These guys are all those guys are journalists. They write, they interview. You know what I'm saying? They go to the press conferences. They write about this stuff. Never ask questions, and that's why the media is so soft. But anyway, we'll keep it moving. And that was his most recent, saying that this is a total rebuild year. They missed on that. RK is the gentleman on the right. He the one who said that they missed. Nobody else is admitting that. He said that me, Neely, you, Chris, we missed on the fact that this was a rebuild year. I don't know how y'all missed that and y'all with the team every day. But I can only imagine because of probably y'all probably missed and I'm just guessing, you know what I'm saying? I really don't know, but y'all probably missed because y'all thought that your boy that Caden Salter was something that he wasn't. Nobody really, you know what I'm saying? Nobody paid attention to how his decline was last year at Liberty. Nobody paid attention to his decline in his game when he tried to pass as much and he wasn't looking to run as much as he did the first year, right? Or the guys he had around the first year. And y'all ranked him pretty high. Y'all gave him a really high ranking. If I'm not mistaken, there was some kind of show that y'all they did that was like I put him in the A category or whatever. And he's not a bag. He's not bad, but I mean he's not what y'all made him out to be. And also because of comments like we got 3 Hall of Fame coaches. Like, yeah, but they ain't never coached college football. If I told you a college football team had 3 pro football Hall of Fame coaches, 5 Super Bowl wins amongst all 3 of them, 27 Pro Bowls made between all 3 of them, 3 Offensive of the Year awards for your OC or as your one of your offensive coaches, and 2 NFL Defense of the Year awards amongst your defensive coach, one of your defensive coaches. You would never think that team would end up 3-9, would you? Never. Never. But the point was, y'all never told nobody that they was new at the coaching. Y'all wasn't very optimistic with that. Y'all led the crowd to believe that it was like that. And yeah, y'all missed because of statements like this one.
All this freak out about all these other positions at the roster from this year to last year. Obviously, things are different without Travis and Shador, right? I'm telling you, this team is better than last year. And so all this freak out about all these other positions and stuff, like, let's have some perspective. Literally, go to cubuffs.com and look at this roster because it is crazy. Sure. It's so much better than last year.
Think about like the receivers, like after the top 4, right? Yeah. Travis.
It's not better, dog. With glitter ain't gold. With glitter ain't gold. It's not better. But that's okay. But that's all right. Because all you had to do was just say, we got a lot of guys out of the transfer portal. But he's one of them guys who strongly believe that the portal is better than high school recruiting. And I don't know how, once again, because he follows the team. He's actually with a football team and he comes out the woodwork making crazy statements. Like, is this the statement? Let me see if this is it.
But also high school recruiting. I mean, we should know that more than anyone. You're going to get more impact out of the transfer portal than you will out of the high school ranks.
What? Play that again. What'd he say?
Transfer portal, but also high school recruiting. I mean, we should know that more than anyone. You're going to get more impact out of the transfer portal than you will out of the high school ranks. The transfer portal.
No, you won't. No, you won't. Have you seen the quarterback play lately? And let's grant it, like all the younger quarterbacks outplayed the upperclassmen quarterbacks this year in college football. That's number one. I mean, but that I mean that's near sight. That's to say after the season. That's really not something that maybe he could have known or I could have known, right? We don't know that. But what we do know is that when you bring in your guys and you have your guys set, you have to recruit. But he's so caught up into being a friend of Coach Prime's, and Coach Prime don't really believe in going out to recruits houses and doing this and doing that. See, these are the main guys who go and ask him questions at the podium, and these questions don't be brought up because their access. I don't know about their access. I don't know about none of that. But these don't. I do know that these questions don't get brought up. So now they're believing you're going to get more out of the transfer portal. In what world? We seen that the portal didn't work. The portal does not work for everybody. It just doesn't. You get the best production out of the guys that you bring into your system, that the culture that you're building with those guys, and you can absolutely train those guys to do what you want to do. There's an old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, which is, whatever. People can bend it, twist it, whatever. You can take it how you want to take it, but there's some reason why you're saying that. That dog has habits that you're not going to break. You know what I mean? You have a better chance at getting a puppy and teaching a puppy exactly what you like and what not to do and what to do. And it's going to do exactly that rather than having that dog that has bad habits, no matter where they come from. But the crowd doesn't know that because you guys told them that the transfer portal, you're not going to get none of high school recruits. So everybody who watches this channel, thousands of football fans watch the channel. So I once again, I'm not. It is what it is if they want to take it there, but I'm not doing that. I'm telling you, this is what happens when you're too positive in a football culture with your football takes. This is what happens. You go into misinforming your viewership. And if you're too negative, you do it. It happens the same exact way. You have to be honest when you're doing this. You have to be truthful. Do people hate? Yeah, there's people that do that try to spin narratives. It's not what you getting here. And I don't like, what I'm saying? So let's, we keep moving and we'll keep moving on, and I'll see on the next one. Let's see what the next clip is. Because the whole conversation, these guys started changing later on. But let's go to something a little bit more positive, right? See what these guys say.
Came today and maybe could turn out to be the most impactful addition of this spring
Sure.
portal.
And he's the highest rated one out of this group of three to commit.
100%. And when I say he could be the biggest or is the biggest, I mean that literally. Bro is 6'7", 350 pounds. This is a massive dude. Plays left tackle, can play right tackle. He played mostly before he redshirted 2023 season. He was playing mostly left tackle.
So that's a guy on the offensive line that you guys later on blamed that was bad once Juju came in. That really wasn't good. The offensive line didn't help. These big guys don't matter. It don't matter how big. Like, look. But once again, that's what happens when your content stays too positive. You start looking like you're misinforming, and then you go looking back. And what the one I showed at the beginning of the show is what he had to come out and say we missed. He had to admit that RK did. Because all off season long, and he went back and said what I had tweeted his partner last year to make it even more crazier. It's a rebuild. Just tell your audience that. Just tell your audience the truth. I get it. You got to make content. That ain't stopping you from making content. Like, let's see what we get out of these guys out of the transfer portal. He seems to be good. He did X, Y, and Z. He played for this. He played this many games. He got this many games underneath his belt. He come in at 6'2", 225. He got the prototypical size for a running back, but we don't know what may happen here. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. But instead, he's 6'2", he's 225. Nobody's going to be able to stop him in the backfield for the Colorado Buffaloes. Nobody's ever going to stop these guys. These guys are going to be the best team in the league. I'm telling you right now, and this is the best roster. This roster's better than last year's roster. And if this roster is better than last year's roster, and last year's roster went 9-4, if you're a casual football fan and you don't got time to follow the game, you're thinking in your head, well, god dang on. Colorado's going to win the national championship this year if they're better than what they had last year. That's just how the game goes. I get it. I'm not dissing. I'm just using this for example. Once again, when your content is too positive, when you're talking about sports and your sport team, even your team, and it's not truthful, you go into the lane of misinforming your audience. And this is why people like me get called a hater when I make a video about Colorado and it's truthful. It's just it's just the truth. It really is. But I'm going to play one more clip of RK. I think he was talking about after Travis and Shador left, and then I'll go into a couple of their attitude after the guys had already left. You know what I mean? Like, because these guys are moving on now. So,
but the other answer that I always tell everyone is I think the overall roster is the best it's been in the Coach Prime era. If you're talking about like the average rating of a player that's going to play, it's the highest it's been.
I agree.
Travis and Shador both being like 99 caliber players changes things.
For sure.
But I think you're going to see a more well-rounded team, and I think the transfers did a good job of filling in areas of need.
No, they didn't. No, they did not. Martavius France didn't even start. He didn't do nothing. There's so many transfers that didn't do nothing. The most production you guys got was out of guys that was, once again, already on the team and that were brought in as pups that became dogs, like Omarion Miller, Draylon Miller, Michael Welch. Who else? Can we name more? Jordan Seaton. Jeremiah Brown was played by far the best linebacker this year. He's been around with Coach Prime in that system for a while. The transfers really didn't do too much. So there's a few transfers that did, but not really. But what he could have said, we got some good looking guys on paper. But the game isn't won on paper. The game is won on the field. These guys look absolutely phenomenal on paper. They came from their schools, did good things, but it seems to be that there's something that's always been going on, and development has been a problem in Colorado. It just has been. Players have declined going there in their play. Believe it or not, they had performed at their previous schools at a high level, and then they go there and it's down. More because French was one of the better linebackers in I think they're in the American Athletic. Don't quote me on that. They might UTSA, but he definitely was one of the better linebackers over there. So, but guys have been seeming to decline coming here to Colorado. But I don't know what's what I'm saying, what's going on. But content always changes after their mind is set. There was a show where he did, and they was loving. I mean, absolutely loving Caden Salter to the point where guys are coming here because of Caden Salter. And you might believe it. Get caught up, but it's like, man, I do this from like, let's just play the clip.
That we feel about Shador, where like people over there are saying like he's not ready, and we're like, bro, he was literally born ready. Is how people that know Juju really well feel about him.
Yeah.
They're like, if you're always waiting for the perfect time when someone's ready, you could just
Yeah.
wait forever. Um, People that know him and watched him play in high school and beyond are like, just give him the rock, man. Ball up top, give it to him, and that's. I think you made the most important point here, Scotty, is like setting the stage for the future, and whether it's donors or just fans.
He should have been playing at the beginning of the year, or y'all should have been caping for him at the beginning of the year. Don't take losses and now try to tell the fans that it's Juju time and flip it over. And it's crazy because I mean, like, I'm not going hard on RK on this at all. I think it was more for this guy.
It's Ben Juju time. So for a variety of reasons now, more than ever, I think it's time though. What we talked about yesterday in terms of, and you mentioned it today, RK, just the team needs a spark. This game's kind of your last gasp in terms of bowl eligibility. I mean, yes, it's still technically possible, but it's one of your 2 remaining home games, right? So, and the other home games being
It's Juju time. He absolutely sold Kane Salter to the point where if you was a preseason better and you watched this show, you probably was going to put money on Caden Salter just by watching these. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me twisted. There ain't nothing wrong with that. If you want to do it, you can do it. You know what I mean? Like it's cool. It is what it is. But at the same time, come on, man. We got to be honest. But honesty is a hard thing to come by nowadays. It really is. And if you go back to the first clip, was the most recent show he did, and I played it because it validated what I said. And he came out, RK came out, and he said that we missed. Now that takes a lot, and I will give him his, you know what I mean? I will give him his props and say that it takes a lot of a person to come out and say, you know what I mean? Like not many journalists, people who have those shows and have that big of an audience will come out and say, we missed, we was wrong. A lot of people won't say that. They won't do that. They'll come up with every excuse. They'll spin every narrative on it. They'll blame it on injuries or whatever else it was and say that. But I think he took responsibility for he tried to, but then Jake said, no, well, you got to look at it like this too. We still got guys who had this, that, and the third. Like, no, just admit it, dude. We was wrong, and you was definitely wrong. You was all the way off without saying that. So I mean, like, because you got to understand, we not going to be perfect with this. But the one thing that I will say is that I think that I think these guys learned a lot this season. And one thing I learned on early is just that honesty is always the best policy, period. And we got to get that word hating out of the conversation when you're talking sports, because it's hating when you're talking about celebrity gossip. When you're talking about somebody's personal life or decisions they made or anything like that, if you're not critiquing their music or their acting or whatever else, and you don't have a barometer or what's the traits of an actor to know if they act bad or whatever else, if you're not doing that kind of thing, you're just talking just celebrity gossip, that's more or less hate and dry snitching, whatever else that might be. But we're talking sports. We're talking about what we see on the field. Even if people don't know how to break down film or, you know what I mean, read a play, they understand this person dropped 5 balls in a game. That can't be good. They understand this quarterback threw it at the receiver's feet 2 times. He threw it to the receiver's left or behind him 3 times and overthrew a receiver 4 times in the game. That quarterback's accuracy is off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like and but that's hating if it's certain people. And that's not right and it's not fair. It's not. And I'm just here to say that I think it's time for us to be real. That's all. And that's all I got to say, y'all. Peace. I enjoyed it.